would it make sense to take profits there?
Well, I've famously said I'm going to be buying the top forever. Bitcoin is the exit strategy. It is the strongest asset. So what we see right now is the Bitcoin has just emerged as a $1 trillion asset class. And it's alongside names like Apple and Google and Microsoft. But the difference between Bitcoin and the Magnificent Seven is Bitcoin's an asset class. It's not a company. There's not enough room in the capital structure of those companies to hold 10 trillion or $100 trillion worth of capital. So Bitcoin's competing against gold, which is 10x what it is right now. It's competing against the S&P index. It's competing against real estate, $100 trillion plus asset class as a store of value. So we believe capital is going to keep flowing from those asset classes into Bitcoin because Bitcoin is technically superior to those asset classes. And that being the case, there's just no reason to sell the winner to buy the losers.
Listen, we've come a long way fast, both in U.S. stocks and in crypto. I mean, crypto, it's almost felt too easy, right? You know, we've gone up almost every day. And so it wouldn't surprise me if there's some consolidation. Right? Trees don't grow to the sky. But I think the big story is we've now opened up the institutional, the RIA community, right? $45 trillion of wealth are managed by brokers. And, you know, we've got baby boomers who own most of the wealth in America, and they're getting their first easy access to Bitcoin. And you're seeing it through these ETFs, the massive growth in a very short period of time in this whole ETF complex. And I don't think that's going to stop, right? Last night we had $135 million of inflows after that slowed down from 400, 350. Paul Tudor Jones taught me early on in my career that prices get set on the margin, right? And so when we've got more buyers than sellers, prices go up. And I see a kind of a constant, these are hodlers as well, right? These are guys that are buying, put it in their portfolio and hold. They're not traders. And so the ETF buyers in general that are coming through these RIA channels, I think are taking supply off the market. So I still see Bitcoin ending the year a lot higher. That said, could we consolidate around here for a little while? Of course we could. Perfect answer, but I would tell you at least double in 6 months, right? There are big channels that still aren't turned on, that we know they're going to get turned on, right? We're in conversations with them. These are the big platforms. And like there's an inevitability to it. Why? Because their customers are calling and bitching at them and saying, we want to buy Bitcoin with you. And so then the sales guys who get paid for selling stuff are screaming at their bosses. And so I'm certain it's going to happen. Like this is not, it might happen. It is going to happen. It just takes time. These organizations are very conservative in general. And, you know, crypto scared the heck out of people 18 months ago. And so there's still scar tissue. You know, it's surprising that we have a approved, U.S. sanctioned Bitcoin ETF, and it's still very difficult for a lot of crypto companies just to get banking services in the U.S. It's a trading community, right? Like what people forget is if you're young, it's not been difficult to buy Bitcoin, right? You get it on your Square app, you get it on almost any app, Robinhood. And so there's a whole universe of people that have bought and sold that will continue to. And hedge funds broadly. I mean, they don't buy and sell daily unless they're quant funds. But, macro funds will get in and then they'll get out just like any other macro asset. You think about gold, every macro trader I know has been bullish gold, but I bet you every single macro trader you can talk to has both bought and sold gold 4 times in the last 6 months.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And we have Michael Saylor, of course. He's the bull on Bitcoin because we know he's a puppet for Morgan Stanley. But he says, why sell the winner for the loser? And we know he's speaking facts because he knows all about the 4th Industrial Revolution. These digital currencies are going to take over the economy because the robots, algorithms, and drones now have money so they can operate the economy without a human involved. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you, And then we have Mike Novogratz. He sees Bitcoin going a lot higher this year. And we no longer have to guess. The only thing we have to do is follow the Fed and the emerging markets. Remember, the emerging markets are going to give the signal, and they're close to giving that signal. We see China putting the clamps down on quant trading. We know China controls the whole economy anyway, so we know there's a strategy behind this. And don't forget to watch the video I did on Enbridge. We know these central banks are banding together in order to bring that CBDC. And Mike Novogratz states that the Fed is not going to be cutting rates in March. So guys, we know we're getting a pullback, but then also we know that distraction is right around the corner because we know the NWO are the master magicians. They're going to get a reason to cut rates. And of course, this is an election year. They don't want the economy to be too bad, but then we know at the end of the year, they're going to start pulling that rug, and then next year, they're going to bring the sheep to reality. They're going to start pulling the curtain down for the fourth industrial revolution. And we know we're in a fragmented world. So guys, that means they have to destroy this legacy market. So that means the small banks, the small businesses, layoffs. And that's the reason why globally, not just in America, guys, globally, all these economies are starting to crumble along with the fiat currencies. And we know the NWO caused the problem, wait for the reaction, and run in with the solution that they already had 20 years ago. And that's blockchain digital currencies that give them the all CNI, programmable money, being able to tell you what, when, when, how to buy. And then they're going to allow people to sit at home and get free money and sit on the couch so they can go inside the metaverse. So therefore, they're entertained. And the 15-minute cities. And remember, you own nothing, but you will be happy. But if you stay in the light, you won't fall for the devil's tricks. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
2,000.
And what would get you there?
It could be some regulatory, kerfuffle. It could just be the market got a little long, and you get people scared. I don't see that as a high probability. But, we broke out. You can just look at the chart. We kind of broke out from 45. And so pushing through where you broke out from happens often in markets. It's not supposed to be easy to make money. You got to get scared a few times. And that's what's been so impressive about the real core Bitcoin community. Like they just take the pain and buy more. I mean, there's such a belief system around this asset. It wouldn't surprise me if something happened that we're not paying attention to. When markets get new buyers and start breaking out, it's hard to have a price prediction. I do think we will test the old highs, in a relatively short period of time. And if you take out 69,000, usually you don't go right through the first time. You'll touch them and you'll come all the way back, and you'll be mad you didn't sell something, and then it takes off again. But once you break 69,000, listen, it could measure to 150,000, right? 125,000. Again, what would have to happen? The Fed finally pivots and starts cutting rates, right? We continue to have fiscal irresponsibility.
Let's go back for a second. How correlated do you think that? I mean, it's funny you said that because there's a lot of folks who think this is correlated to what the Fed is doing, but then there have been periods of time where it has seemed completely unrelated.
Yeah, listen, there's two stories with Bitcoin that always happen. One, it's a macro asset. And the second, we're early on in the life cycle, so there's an adoption cycle. Right now, this is all adoption. This is new buyers coming in and being told the big picture story that you need to have this in your portfolio because we've got fiscal irresponsibility that's not going away. And this is a hard asset. And more people are believing, despite Jamie Dimon, despite Elizabeth Warren, that this is a hard asset. And so that's what's driving it now. But it's still a macro asset. And so in the same way, gold hasn't had a great run, partly because Bitcoin substitution, partly because, listen, it's been harder to call the U.S. government. I mean, the U.S. economy, right? The Fed really gave us the sense that they were going to be cutting in March, and now they're not going to cut in March.
The UK economy officially entered a technical recession marking the first time since 2012.
Japan unexpectedly slipped into recession at the end of last year.
Germany is likely in recession now as external demand is weak.
Car repossessions are on the rise as drivers across the country fall behind on car payments.
Auto repossessions are expected to climb this year now that consumers no longer benefit from more lenient lenders and stimulus programs.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Sonali Basak. Sonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Crypto Teacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, BitChute, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The Stock Channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tanya save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tanya save New York from COVID 33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tanya goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.